just don't want this feeling to end. I just don't want this feeling to end. I just don't want this feeling to end. I just don't want this feeling to end.
One of the things I love most about the sport of spearfishing is the friendships that you make along the way. There seems to be something about the spearfishing community that whether there are people travelling or relocating to an area, there are spearos always willing to accommodate and take people out who would otherwise be complete strangers. This is basically the summary of how myself and one of my best friends, Dale Brisbane, met some 14 years ago. After being MySpace friends, when that was actually a thing in the Stone Age, when I still lived in my home state of West Australia, I got a random message from Brizzo saying he was moving to WA and was keen to link up for a dive. Some 14 years later, we are still great mates. We've done several overseas spearing missions and trips all over Australia spearfishing. Things have changed somewhat over the years. We're a bit more weathered and someone has a lot less hair than what they used to. We're both fathers, with Brizzo having 2 boys, Charlie and Ollie, but whenever we get together, it's like nothing's changed. During my stint up in the far north this year, Dale, his wife Jodie and 2 boys had planned to do a 2-week trip also in the far north, and we had planned to link up for some long overdue diving. The idea was to chase doggies again, the fish that Dale and I had spent so much time on so many trips chasing over the last decade. Ocean, JLo and myself made the trip north to catch up with Brizzo and the fam and spent a few days catching up with them and another good friend, Mick Saunders, who was kind enough to have us at his place for a few days prior to doing another overnight trip.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh. Go, buddy, go.
After some fun days sightseeing and catching up, we packed the boat once again and headed out, hopefully in search of Dogtooth Tuna. Once again, the moon phase was spot on, the tides were right, but the weather wasn't great, but we were going out regardless, and we punched out the 40-odd nautical mile to the location. Brizzo also loves his line fishing, and while we waited for the incoming tide and the late afternoon, we fished some areas stacked with life and bait on the sounder. First cast and we were on, a nice Spanish mackerel to start the trip.
Have you got a glove, Ant? Maybe just put one on. Or give it to me, maybe, or you, I don't care. I'll have a go, bud. Just because it's a big Spanish. What? Nice. Spaniard.
Oh, maybe.
Get out of your way now.
We got dinner. Tail got bit in my shaft.
Watch the too. Yeah, all the gear. Yeah.
The tail got sharp.
Sick.
Hey, look, Daddy, the tail got sharp.
Sick.
Are we eating it?
So good out of you, man.
Daddy, are we eating
That was
it?
good.
Oh, Daddy.
A few hours of fishing and diving for reefies to get some dinner that night. It was around 3:30 PM and we decided to start some drifts searching for doggies. J-Lo and Brizzo got in the water to start the first drift. It was about 10 minutes into the first drift and the float started moving. Brizzo was on. The addictive commotion and chaos that comes with hunting these fish began. The boys fought and pulled on the rig line, and wasn't long before the fight was over. Brizzo got a great shot on the doggy, hurting the fish bad and stopping it from doing a typical dogtooth fight. What a start. 10 minutes in and Brizzo had shot a 32 kilo doggy. Safe to say he was over the moon. We spent the remainder of the afternoon drifting the same area. We saw several more doggies between 15 and 50 plus kilograms. In amongst that, J-Lo shot and lost a nice doggy around 20 kilos that wrapped him on the reef in deep water. A pretty common occurrence when fighting these fish. Brizzo and I were doing a drift and I took a dive. The area was stacked with bait and life, and I was just thinking it was only a matter of time before more doggies appeared. Like clockwork, a 25 kilo model ghosted in at the end of my dive. I gave Brizzo the big gun and he made a dive, dropping on the fish and crunching it. Again, the fight was on. I never get sick of this adrenaline rush. When fighting doggies, it is flat out addictive. Within a few minutes, the fight was over and Brizzo had landed another cracking fish. What a session. We continued diving until it was almost pitch black. As you can see in the clips, this is sometimes how late it is when we are chasing these fish and when they can appear. It's hard to see in the clip there because the water's so dark, but there's a fish just out of range that's around 50 to 60 kilograms. What an afternoon at an incredible spot. It was so good diving with two of my closest friends and having Ocean there for the ride as well. The second day, conditions had changed and the doggies disappeared, but we didn't care. Day one was just so much fun, and after JLo and my previous trip where we shot our PB doggies, we were more than content seeing Brizzo shoot some great fish. Ocean and I would like to say thanks to everyone for their support and welcome the new subscribers from the last few weeks. Please like, subscribe and leave comments and feedback about the videos. We hope you're enjoying the vids and we can't wait to keep bringing you similar content into 2024.